Hello, great and glorious human beings. Copeland here with Rising Tide, here to talk about our fifth and final part of our Care and Feeding of Meat Computers series. Today, we're going to be talking about staying on the cutting edge of meat computer technology, which just is modalities or methodologies for taking care of yourselves and others, things that you may not have thought about or you've been on the edge of embracing and just haven't had the encouragement to do so. And hopefully, these are going to be things that will be helpful for you to engage and discover how you can better improve your life and the life of those around you. So, without much ado, or without further ado, here is the last set of slides we've got. So, staying on the cutting edge. One of my favorite things about humanity is that we have been the most adaptable, right? Like throughout all of the time and all of the years of experience and trouble that humanity has been through, we've always found a way forward. As I say here at the bottom, no one is irreparably broken. You are plastic, your skills are plastic, which means you can constantly be moving. We'll explain that a little bit more in a minute. You aren't stuck with the hand you were dealt, and don't stop learning. Don't get left behind. We'll explain a little bit more about that in a minute. So, when we're talking about cutting edge, when we're talking about technology and getting the most out of it, we're going to talk about prereqs. We're going to talk about the things that you really need to start with and engage the most. And the first thing is you need to embrace plasticity. So there's a concept in psychology called neuroplasticity, and it's this idea that you are not static. You, as we're talking about nature and nurture and network earlier, you are the sum of what you practice and what you continuously do. There's people that say you are the average of the circle that you hang out with the most. That in 5 years, you are going to reflect the people that are closest to you. This screenshot is from one of my favorite movies, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Jamie Lee Curtis, Michelle Yeoh, all of these amazing characters are in it. And it's a story of a family essentially that are struggling with loss and connection. And there's a thread in it where they turn to kind of this nihilistic sort of like everything matters, nothing matters, and that's okay. We can keep moving forward. And so I just want to encourage you to, as we're approaching this last segment, there's how you've always been your entire life. And to feel shame for any part of that is frankly, it's ineffective. Shame has been proven in society. It's really easy. We want to cancel people. We want to say you're wrong and I'm right. We want to fight. We want to tell people that they're wrong and they're bad. But often what shame does is it encourages people to hide behaviors that are harmful instead of digging out the parts of them that are problematic and holding them with curiosity. Why am I this way? And getting help and fixing it. And so I want to encourage you to not shame yourself as we're talking about these questions, to not consider that you are who you are and you're stuck that way and it's been 50 years and why would you change? You still could have another 50 years. Why waste another one being the same version? Windows 7, Windows 10, all of those are out of support. So don't do the same thing to yourself, man. Like that version of you is out of support. Like we're not using that anymore. We're done with it. Let's move on to the next one. Let's get the better version. And then the last thing is you got to consider, I mentioned that story about the girl with the dog. When people are mad, they're often mad at the situation and not you. People are much more forgiving than we realize, but you have to commit to the change as well. You can't just say sorry over and over again. You have to do the next step. And so be willing, be humble, keep your roots, keep your grounding, and keep moving forward. So this is the prereqs for anything else that we're going to talk about. We're about to talk about hardware, software, and networking, how to take the next step, the next level to continually being on the cutting edge when it comes to taking care of yourself and others in a technology focus. So when we're talking about hardware, the first things I want to ask you are you respecting your own uptime and your user manual? Are you yourself staying active the way you need to be, fueling yourself appropriately, making sure that you are safe and taken care of? So how can if the answer to those things is no, what should you be doing instead? How can you better care for your basic needs? What does that look like? Again, common sense isn't common and it's okay. Don't feel shame. Just ask the questions. What does that look like next? So maybe you need to stop fighting as much. Maybe you feel like a fight. Maybe you're feeling anxiety. One of the things that you can look at is therapy. I've been in therapy for a lot of years. What year is this year? 2004. Almost 10 years. I've been in therapy for a very long time. And it's allowed me, it's a tool to help me better have context for situations that I'm in. It's been something where, as someone who has ADHD, a lot of thoughts are jumbled sometimes, and so it's really helpful. There's actually an image where there's like three different colors of yarn that are like all jumbled together, and that's what someone is speaking to the therapist, and then the therapist has three separate speech bubbles that have one single thread of yarn rolled up, and I think that that is very meaningful. Sometimes we have a hard time having context and seeing the big picture, and having someone that you trust to help talk through those things. And yeah, sometimes you can do that with friends, sometimes you can do that with a loved one, but sometimes it's important to have a professional who understands some of the structures and systems and formats of human behavior in sort of more clinical terms to help you walk through those things. I also mentioned EMDR. That type of therapy allows people literally to rewire their brain. It's kind of funny to say, but this type of stuff, if you feel like you've done therapy for a while and there's certain things, certain traumas that you can't get past, that might be something that is useful for you to do or to embrace. Another type of rewiring could be meditation or yoga. Meditation is helpful and yoga is helpful because you're connecting with your body, with being present. I did meditation pretty consistently earlier this year, and it's not something that I'm very good at doing, but I found that one of my common mantras when I was meditating was, you do not have to change anything now. And as someone who is a constant doer and constantly thinking and constantly worrying about what I need to be doing next, to have a rock to hold on, to talk through and to allow myself to be patient and kind was very valuable. For some people, just sitting is not super valuable, myself included. That's why I put yoga and meditation together, is because there are some meditative aspects of yoga that allow you to be physical without having to do solely the mental part. And so those two things kind of work hand in hand. If you don't like one, you may like the other. And they're both kind of low effort things to get involved in. This one is not as it's not as wild, I think, as it would have been a couple years ago. But look into, if these options don't work, maybe look into having a therapeutic or a clinically administered program for K therapy or ketamine therapy or psilocybin, so mushrooms. I'm not a doctor. I'm not telling you that these things are what you need to be doing, but they may be worth looking at if therapy or meditation or yoga aren't enough. Sometimes you can literally rewire your brain chemistry through intentional, clinically regulated administration of these materials. There's some really amazing things that are going on practically when you're looking at reworking some of the hardware that you were given. I don't know if I said this before I move on to care for the physical housing. I might say it later, but also included in the rewiring the lizard brain is medication. I'm currently on an SSRI. If you can't forge your own dopamine, store bought is fine. There's a lot that you inherit that it's hard to admit when you need help. And if you haven't tried it, or if you tried it for a little bit and you didn't feel like it worked, always try something else. There's a ton of options out there. Talk to your primary care physician. You don't have to use it your whole life. You can use it for a little bit to get out of a hole. You don't have to commit forever. You can just try for a little bit and see if it helps you, and then move on to something else. Also for hardware, caring for your physical housing, energy, rhythm. These are two things that I like to say, that I like to use as my mantra for eating healthfully and moving healthfully. You don't need to do 100% all the time. There's an 80-20 rule where it's like you eat healthfully 80% of the time, and then 20% of the time you get to have whatever you want. Or if it's portion control, 80% of the time you are eating under what you need to be doing, and 20% of the time you're eating a little bit over. You need to have your body fed, and that means you need to have the right macro and micro nutrition intake. That means fiber. That means vitamins, vitamin K, vitamin D, folic acid. You want to make sure that you have a balance. And I'm sorry, I'm getting into the nitty gritty because this is one of my hyperfixation topics. I used to be quite a meathead, but really, ultimately, that just means focus on protein, focus on lean protein, focus on leafy vegetables. Like there's a ton that you can do. Get fiber. It's just basic things. Drink water. Stuff that, and if you just focus on one thing at a time, you don't have to do all of them at once. Just focus on one. Same thing with rhythm. Rhythm, I like to consider like sleep, movement, connections with other people. So kind of like, what are you doing, like holidays and breaks for yourself, like being connected with nature, the flow of water. Like there's a lot of things that tie into rhythm. How are you staying active? How are you connecting yourself with the world around you? Can you go for a walk? Do you like to lift weights? Do you like to bike? Do you like to swim? These are things that you can add some habits and rhythm into your life with traditions or rituals. Every morning, I make a cup of coffee with an AeroPress. I weigh out a certain amount of coffee beans. I boil my water and I pour it over and I stir it a certain number of times. I press it and then I refill it with a certain amount of water. Like that is a tradition that allows me to keep in rhythm with my life. So those are things that are important to me. Also, when it comes to hardware, automate things that you can. Some of these things you don't know the answer to, and that is okay. You can hire coaches. I know Jason Slagle worked with Ben. Hack My Health, I think is what it's called, Hack My Health. But, like it's okay to not know the answer. And also, take the decision making off the table as much as you can. If you can create a process for you, like that ties into the rhythm thing. If you can just meal prep at the beginning of the week and make meals and not have to think about it, that's going to give you so much more freedom to take care of yourself down the road. When it comes to software, how can we improve our software or operating system? What are you doing? What operating system are you on? And how can you more effectively communicate with other operating systems? One of the topics I have on here is fake it till you make it. None of us know what's going on. Just fake it. Just keep trying. Care for your hardware, the rhythm, the energy, the medications that I was talking about, or other things. Those things all tie together. And it's all linked. So care for your hardware, care for your housing, take care of yourself. Talk to yourself. I was reading once that we don't like it when it's silent. We don't want to be alone with ourselves. So maybe you should journal if you're not doing therapy. Maybe you should ask yourself why you do certain things. You should put a little bit of space between when something makes you angry and how you react. If you are angry and then you react, there's no room for doing something different. But if you can hold the space and you're angry and then you react, then you can make the distance between those two things a little bit longer. There's space there to do something different or to be someone different. So talk to yourself, do little debriefs or postmortems when things happen. It's okay. And then, read or listen to people like Simon Sinek. He's a very empathetic people folk focused leader, Brene Brown. She's had a little bit of weirdness in the news lately. Her research on shame still stands. It's very strong stuff. So just very, very useful materials for kind of developing your software and how you interact with other people. Lastly, network. We've spent a lot of time talking about the value of the people around you and yourself. Review your network. Is it up to date with who you envision to be? If you were like, oh, all my people are, not $10 million, I think all of my people are $10 million. Who are you hanging out with? So review your network. Is it up to date with who you want to be? Go to conferences and meetups, find those. Go to MSP GeekCon. Go, find other people who are like-minded that you want to be friends with or that you want to be like. Talk to them. Don't be embarrassed. Like it's worth trying. Go to meetups, help encourage other people, be involved in good forums, MSP Geek, Tech Tribe, other places where people are asking questions, Reddit even, there's tons of places where there are people who are having questions that you have the experience or the knowledge to work with or to share. And ask for help. If there's something that you're dealing with, you don't have to just give help, which is what I started with, but you can ask for help. And lastly, frankly, leverage vendors. If you feel like you don't have the time to do certain things, vendors will be happy to do a lot of stuff for you. So do that. I mean, I'm still a part owner of Tier 2 Technologies. They're the makers of help desk buttons and Tier 2 tickets. We did a ton of stuff for people. I'm currently a partner at Rising Tide, where we do all sorts of consulting. We're happy to do heavy lifting for you. Like leverage the partners that are there to do work for you and want you to be successful. That's what we're here for. So all of that said, it's wild that we've wrapped this up. I was gonna drag this on, and I just I'm just gonna get it all done. So I'm really proud of myself. Got it all done. But here are my closing thoughts for you, and I hope that this series was valuable to you and helpful for you. But here's what I would love for you to keep in mind as you consider Meet Computers, as you consider the humans in your circle and how you yourself can take care of yourself and others. What you believe about yourself and the world around you does matter. Everyone is going through something, and you can be an agent of change and power in your life and in the lives of others. I'm in this business because I believe that the technology companies that power small to medium businesses can change the world. And I believe that any person listening to my voice right now has the power to make practical and amazing changes in their life and the lives of others. And you are a main character in your own life. You have the power to become anyone that you want to be. So, what you believe about yourself and the future and the capabilities and the legacy that you're leaving matters. And you can invest that in someone else's life that I can't touch. And so I hope that you will take care of the people in your circle. And in turn, they will take care of you and others that we ourselves can't reach. With that in mind, I want you to remember that while Meet Computers are valuable, they're not fragile. They just need certain things. And so if you feel like you've screwed up, if you've screwed up a relationship, if you've screwed up things, there's certain people that probably don't want to hear from you. However, when there are people who choose to be in relationship with you, when there's people who choose to talk with you or they say that there's a problem, don't worry about them being fragile and things being irreparably broken. You are not stuck. You can keep moving forward. You can keep making better decisions. You can do that. Your people can do that. It's not just you, the people around you. If you give them the space, they can keep growing too. If you give them the space and the impetus, they will reach those levels as well. And then, like I just said, and like it says multiple times here, keep moving forward. Also from one of my favorite movies, Meet the Robinsons, always say your next best yes. Always keep choosing something. If something didn't work for you, don't be ashamed. Don't be, throw it out, keep moving forward. Um, and then yeah, remember the glue or folder packer. Remember that there are things in our lives that we use in our industrialized world that are highly valuable, but nowhere near as valuable as a human. But somehow we treat them better. And I would propose to you and anyone else listening that if you can hold a human with the same curiosity and excitement that you would a brilliant new piece of technology, new laptop, a new hard drive, new something that's, a new like a new silicon chip of some sort. If you can hold the same curiosity and excitement about weird humans like this, your life be markedly better. And I'm here to watch you do that. So, thanks again for joining me on this run through of this talk. I have a lot more to say about it. Maybe one day it will turn into a book, but I'm glad to share it with you, and I hope it was useful. Again, I'm Elle Copeland at Rising Tide, and we'll look forward to seeing you around.